My son's teacher gave him a detention, so I got her fired and arrested. The note came home on a Friday. Detention assigned for Monday. Reason: unauthorized phone use during instructional time. My stomach dropped. Jake didn't even bring his phone to school. I'd been keeping it at home since he got distracted by games during homework. What happened? I asked him that night. He shrugged, wouldn't make eye contact. I don't know. Mrs. Whitman just said I had detention. But you didn't have your phone. It's been in my drawer for 2 weeks. I know. His voice was small, scared. The kind of scared that meant something worse was happening. Something was wrong. I called Mrs. Whitman Monday morning. She answered on the 4th ring, clearly annoyed. Yes, this is Jake's mom. About the detention. Your son was on his phone during my lesson. That's against school policy. Detention stands. He didn't bring his phone. I can show you our phone records. I can prove it's been at home. Are you calling me a liar? Her voice turned cold and sharp. Maybe if you parented better and monitored your child's behavior, we wouldn't have these issues. Some parents actually support their children's teachers. I hung up, hands shaking with anger. I texted 3 other moms from Jake's class. Within an hour, I had responses. Mrs. Whitman had given detention to 7 kids this month, all for phone violations. All kids who swore they hadn't used phones. One mom said her daughter came home crying, saying Mrs. Whitman screamed at her. That evening, I sat with Jake again. Honey, I need you to tell me everything. I promise you won't be in trouble. He was quiet for a long time. Finally, she takes our phones. What? During lunch, she says she needs to check for cyberbullying. Makes us unlock them and give them to her. She takes them to her desk and we can't leave until she's done. My blood went cold. How long does she keep them? 20 minutes, sometimes longer. She gets really mad if we ask for them back. Does she look at your messages? He nodded. Everything. Photos too. Emma said she even opened her mom's banking app. The next day I went to the school. Told the office I was dropping off Jake's lunch he'd forgotten. Instead, I walked past his classroom during lunch period. Through the window, I could see Mrs. Whitman at her desk. She was holding a phone. Not hers. The case was pink with stickers. A student's phone. She was typing rapidly, scrolling, photographing the screen with her own phone. Then she tucked the student's phone in her pocket. I went straight back to the office. I need to speak with Principal Davis right now. He was hesitant, but I wasn't leaving. I planted myself in the chair across from his desk. Check your visitor logs. See how many parents have complained about Mrs. Whitman this semester. He pulled up the records. His face changed as he scrolled. 14 complaints. Most about detention for phone use. Now check the security footage from her classroom. Lunch period. Any day this week. I'll wait. I can't just, yes, you can. Because if you don't, I'm calling the police myself and telling them you refuse to investigate potential theft from minors. He pulled up the footage. We watched together in silence. Mrs. Whitman collected phones from 4 students, claiming she was checking for bullying. She took them to her desk, turned away from the camera. We watched her photograph each screen carefully. Go through messages, photos, banking apps. She pulled out a small notebook from her drawer and wrote down information. At the end of lunch, she returned 3 phones but pocketed 1 phone entirely, slipping it into her purse. Principal Davis reached for his phone with a shaking hand. I'm calling the police. Mrs. Whitman was in the teacher's lounge when they arrived. She tried to explain, voice getting higher and more frantic. I was just checking for cyberbullying. It's for their safety. The district encourages us to monitor student behavior. Then why is there a student's phone in your purse? The officer asked, holding up the pink case. Her face went white. She stammered something about forgetting to return it. They searched her classroom, found 3 more phones in her desk drawer, hidden under papers, found her notebook filled with parents' banking information, passwords, social security numbers copied from tax documents people stored on family phones. Pages and pages of data. I was just checking for cyberbullying, she kept saying as they handcuffed her. I was protecting them. She was fired that afternoon, arrested on 4 felony counts: theft, identity theft, unauthorized access to computer systems. The district attorney said she'd been building a database to sell on the dark web. At least 40 families were affected. Some had already noticed fraudulent charges. Jake came home Monday with a written apology from the school and a letter about the security incident. Mrs. Whitman is facing 6 years in prison for her phone policy.